All right, I'm gonna do something entirely unsafe but necessary. I'm gonna talk about today the discussion with Malaysian progressive minimum tax. So, for those who don't know and are not interested in Malaysia, Malaysia has been stuck in a very low wage environment for many years, probably more than a decade. Kind of like Japan. Japan, it's not only Japan who has lost decades. Malaysia has many lost decades too. So I want to tell you from my employer's perspective what the heck's going on and why a minimum wage may or may not work for this country. Okay, so the overall problem for this country is I feel that very few people in the country truly understand how wealth is being created, how money is being created. The people who argue about progressive tax will say, well, poor people deserve more. The problem with that is that how much more and why do they deserve it is the question. Does a hungry person deserve food? And does a thirsty people deserve water? Or is it something that is earned, right? Wealth, like everything else, is earned in life. Like everything else is earned. So the question, this discussion isn't really about whether the poor people deserve more. The real question is how can we get Malaysian people more wealth? All levels. But of course the bottom layer needs the most. Well, how's wealth created? Wealth created through productivity. And this is economic 101, unless you don't believe in economics. And if you don't believe in economics, I don't know what to tell you, because pretty much all modern finance is built on economics. So productivity, and the true reason, and that's where we get to why Malaysians' wage is so low. It's because Malaysian productivity is so low. When I say Malaysian, I do mean all races in Malaysia. But of course, certain races are less productive than others. Well, then the next question is, are you saying that, what are you saying? Are you saying people are lazy here? Okay, calm your horses, first of all. What is productivity? Productivity actually comes through two ways. One is the dumb way, but it's necessary and absolutely necessary, which is work hard. If you work 7 days a week, you will be more productive than if you work 5 days a week. If you work 10 hours a day, you will be more productive than working 7 hours a day. Right now, Malaysia has a huge problem, and that is people, well, it's like every other country, people want to work the least possible for the max amount of pay. But in Malaysia, you already have a 5-day work week, okay, which is already instilled in the work culture here. Then on top of that, you have work from home. And on top of that, you have a country with one of the most holidays in the whole wide world. Because you have Malay holidays, you have Chinese holidays, you have Indian holidays, and everyone celebrate the same holidays. So all these things make Malaysians extremely low productivity. And then on top of that, you have religion, which causes low productivity. Because in Muslim countries, as you know, Fridays, most people have prayers. That means that if they work at all on Friday, if they're mentally there to work, they may give you at best half day, at best, probably less than half day, a couple hours. Then their mind is into like, let's get ready to go to mosque, pray, then after mosque, let's eat, then let's go home. So how many days does Malaysia really work? Probably 4 days. And out of those 4 days, how many hours in those 4 days really are productive? Probably not that many. Okay, we understand that. So that is a problem that most people understand. But there's another layer to this that's not employees' fault, but employers' fault. I run a company, and I can tell you from what I see in many Malaysian companies that companies do not invest in technology. They do not invest in the latest, best, efficient way to do things. They do not invest in machines. They still rely on cheap manual laborers. They do not invest on upgrading employees' capabilities. A lot of it is fearing employee leave for their competitors, which is a legitimate concern. I don't blame the company for doing that, because loyalty in Malaysia is not very high either. So We cannot blame the employer for these things because a lot of the responsibility come from the way employees behave. So the employer, by default, it's a chess game, right? If your employees does this, employers will do that. But employer does have some blame in the fact that they're not investing in increasing the productivity of their business, the productivities of their employees. So we have unproductive workforce, and you have companies and business that refuse to invest in technologies, machines, and the training to increase the little productivity that their employees are already giving them. What you have is stagnant wages because your productivity sucks. So the question is, how do we solve this problem? Now, I just described to you the symptoms. How do we solve this problem? Believe it or not, the solution to this is not more government regulations and laws to force employers to pay more. Because when you force employers to pay more, those who can outsource will outsource. And that's increasingly more and more companies in this world, through technology again. The alternative is those who cannot outsource their business, what they will do is simply increase the prices in order to survive because their costs went up. That means what? Inflation in the general public. God, I'm teaching you guys so much economics. The solution to this, my friend, is less regulation, not more. It's making the business communities more competitive, do less cronyism, less protectionism, less government contracts and kickback, all the garbage and BS, and let business compete. When you remove all these bullshit and the business really have to compete for business owners will be forced to find more productive, creative, efficient ways to do things. And the local people's assumption is that when they do that, they just lower prices. That's not true. When the economy becomes more productivity go up, actually wages go up. At least the wage of productive people go up significantly. So what you really want is a productive workforce through a free market economy. I know I sound like an American, and you're right, I am one, but hey, let's be honest. Which economy has one of the highest salaries, right? Living standards. America. Now, in the American system, there are a lot of people who are left out. That's because those who are left in are extremely productive, and they are doing 2, 3, 4, 5 people's jobs. So of course, those people who would refuse to upgrade their skills and their capability are no longer needed, and they become homeless and useless and on government's pay and so forth. Well, that's not this problem for productivity. There's no silver bullet. There's no solution that solves all. Whenever you create a solution, you create a new problem that needs to be solved. But we just keep you go up and you kick the ball a little further down, but you also upgrade yourself. So it's important to keep solving these problems, and in the process creating better problems to solve. Okay, that's my rant, my talk for today about Malaysia and it is low wage situation.